All right. So now we're going to share the screen. Here you go, screen one. And we're going to bring the document. All right. So the document is this is the this we have it. I have done it in Farsi, Persian, and then English translation. I think. Oh, so Laura left. I don't know what happened. It's okay.
Yeah, maybe internet connection.
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. So if she's not, I wanted to start reading, but she's not here, so we just gonna get going. Because you, I already read the poem for you. All right. So we stopped here. All right. So this is a poem. This is verse number three. I'm sorry, verse 2263. Book three. And Rumi here it says, دل تو این آلوده را پنداشتی، لاجرم دل زهل دل برداشتی. You fancied this polluted heart was the pure heart. Consequently, you averted your heart from those possessed of purified hearts. You fancied that this polluted heart was the pure heart. You thought the heart that is polluted with the attachment is the pure heart. That's what you thought. That's what we think in our mind when we don't know what is uh, the purified heart. And then that's why we are turning away, we are averting our heart from the ones who are purified, who have possessed, who possess purified heart. So in with this, so by this with this poem, we understand that in order to understand the purified people with purified hearts, we have to have we have to purify our hearts. So that's why we're studying Rumi to purify our heart, so we can connect to other purified people which we may encounter in our lives. And that way we can take advantage and learn from them and connect to them, because the one of the ways we could the language is one way of communication, what Rumi says, but the higher and better ways of communication is the one which are done by vibration. So we want to make sure that if a pure-hearted person comes to next to us, we are can recognize them, to stay around them and get the vibration from them. That's what Rumi is saying here. Now, next verse is from book 5, verse 29-19. نفس و شیطان خواست خود را پیش برد، وان عنایت قهر گشت و خورد و مرد. The egoic mind and the devil have carried their will to success. While the egoic mind and the devil have carried their will to success, while that act of divine favor has been defeated and shattered to small pieces. So this is for the people who the ego and devil has uh, possessed, has win in their being, has been able to take over, right? When devil and ego has been succeeded in in uh, in taking over the being of these people, then the divine favor has been defeated and shattered. So the divine, basically the divine favor would leave, because devil and ego has taken over. That's what this one says. When we separate from the divine and arrive, when we separated from the divine and arrived in this world and made the egoic mind, every moment God wants to bless us. He is always with us, but we cause trouble for ourselves and block him. Our egoic mind and devil have carried their will to success. So as soon as, oh, here you go. K cannot. Let me see. Hi, Kay. Would you please turn on your camera, please? Hello?
Hello, Kai. Yeah, just introduce yourself where you are and turn on your camera for just a minute. Okay. Hi, can you activate your camera? You just connected to audio now, you say? Thank you.
Hello,
Hello.
Kai?
We are talking to you, Kai. He's writing. Who are you talking to? Yeah, we are talking to you. Can you
Oh,
activate your camera? And
okay, that's fine. All right. So, so here you go. When we separated from the divine and arrived in this world and made the egoic mind, every moment God wants to bless us. He is always with us, but we cause trouble for ourselves and block him. Our egoic mind and devil have carried their will to success. You become angry and decide to take an action based on anger. Is life wisdom in it? Obviously not. If instead of deciding based on anger, you open your heart and allow the wisdom of God to manage your life and guide you, your action will not be based on anger, but on the creativity of God. So, this is one example of this poem when the egoic mind and devil have carried their will and overtake us, over take big control us. That's why we become, and the example is being getting angry. So that's what he says. You see here. So then the creativity of God and God's wisdom will not show up because we allowed the egoic mind and devil uh, take over take over us, right? That's what it means. Another poem. This is from book 4, poem verse 3501. اول و آخر تویی ما در میان هیچی که نیاید در بیان. You are the first, you are the last, and we are in between. Nothing of nothingness, who I cannot even talk about, and is not even worthy of description. See, that's how Rumi looks at us and says, you are the first, you're the last. You know, the divine is the first, the divine is the last, and you are in between too. And then no, you are the last, you're the first, you're the last, and we are in between. We are the creation, the creature in between the first and the last, and we are nothing of nothingness. It's not even worthy of talking about. He's talking about the ego, by the way. He says the ego came in between the beginning, the first and the last, and it's nothing. It's an imagination, it's an illusion, and it's not even worthy of talking about. Rumi says, so don't talk about it. Don't busy yourself with this nothing, with something which is not worthy even of your attention and your talk and description. That's how Rumi sees ego between the first and the last. Divine is the first, divine is the last, and we are something in between which is not worthy of description. The ego, not the spiritual being of us, which is in us too, because God says, I blew from my spirit in you guys, so you guys have it, but not in the ego. The ego is an illusion, and the first and the last is the divine. As God, greatness, majesty, and magnificence are boundless and impossible to explain, the egoic mind's pettiness is not worthy of discussion and explanation. Good way of putting it, right? We compare ourselves to others and boast about our abilities and being better than others. But the best ways always comes from heavens and do not come from humans. And basically from the heavens on people too, from that spiritual place. That comes from there. That spiritual place, that spiritual entity, that is the same. It's the same in us and in the divine. It's the same thing because God says, I blew from my spirit in you guys. So it's the same essence, but it shows up in the being of the divine and the being of us, but that divine portion of us, that divine part of us. It's just for the sake of conversation, we're saying divine portion, but basically there is nothing but divine because the ego is illusion, right? The ego, it doesn't exist at all. The egoic mind and the devil have carried the will to success, and we like Satan carry the desires, and we like Satan carry the desires of our egoic self. Consequently, the divine blesses turn into shattered small pieces of pain and for unfulfilled wants and desires. So the divine blesses turn into shattered small pieces of pain and unfulfilled wants and desires. On a personal level, too, we have made imaginary and illusory stories that are baseless and destructive. You will always harvest what you plant, means that whatever is inside you will manifest itself on the outside. If you are contaminated inside, your outside will be polluted and contaminated. Please, please look into your bag of being and verify what you are carrying in it. Is it full of useless, rotten beliefs and very old patterns of action? You always defended these unusable things? Have you accumulated a lot of hurt, fear, anger, revenge, jealousy, depression, and anxiety in your bag? Now we have learned a lot of concepts, and hopefully, all of a sudden, love will come into your being, our being. But at the same time, we have to realize that understanding by itself is not sufficient. We have become alive to the divine. We have to become alive to the divine and see ourselves from the eye of the creator. We have to become alive. Yeah, sorry, I forgot this one. We have to become alive to the creator. So here we are opening, see, we are opening ourselves to these poems, so hoping that by learning this concept, the love will come into our being, the divine will come into our being, and we have to know that just understanding by itself is not sufficient. It's not sufficient. We have to become alive to divine. That divine has to become alive in us. Our divinity have to be wakened. That's another way of putting it. Our divinity is sleep. Is inactive now. We have to wake up our divine. Wake up divine. It is there. And it wants, and God, because God divine wants to manifest itself in everybody, because he says, I blew from my spirit to everybody. So he wants to manifest himself in everybody, but we are stopping it. Most of the people, we don't allow it. Now here Rumi gives us a message of hope in book 4 verse 1941. رحمتن در رحمت آمد تا به سر، بر یکی رحمت فرو ما ای پسر. بر یکی رحمت فرو ما ای پسر. Mercy upon mercy comes and rises like a flood up to the head. Do not you come down to and dwell upon and stop at a single mercy, O son. He's talking to, like we are. He's pointing to us as his children. Rumi. He says, "Oh my son, oh my daughter," because it goes with the sar and pesar. This is the it rhymes together. but it means, oh my, oh my, oh my child, oh my child. Mercy is all over. It's like a flood everywhere. And do not stop at one mercy. Ask for more. This is the only place that greed is good. Here the greed is good. Be greedy of getting the divine's blessings. See the mercy, blessing, mercy. It's like flood. It's everywhere, and it comes to your head. And so don't stop at one. Ask for more, because God is an infinity of mercy, infinite merciful, infinite blessing. He wants to give us blessing everywhere. We are the one who stop it. He said, don't stop. Just ask for more. He will give you more because he has infinite, he's an infinite source of mercy and blessing. That's what Rumi said. The divine is mercy upon mercy. Do not stop after receiving only a little bit of God's mercy. Keep going. In this verse, Rumi indicates that mercy upon mercy comes from the other side. But why you don't feel it? Because your heart is polluted and contaminated. Additionally, please realize that his mercy does not turn into punishment. It is your deeds that causes pain and suffering in you. You, by the way, is me too. Cause pain and suffering in you. In فعل توست, then this is a proof of what we just heard here, learned here. فعل توست این قصه های دم به دم، این بود معنی قد جف القلم. These continuous pains are the effect of your own action. This is the meaning of the pen has dried. So God's pain dries based on our action. God's pen dries. It's like God writing our destiny. And whatever our destiny will be written as a reaction to our action, basically. What we act, it's going to be our destiny. If I'm good to others, my destiny will be good. People will be good to me. I mean, we have tested it in our life. If I'm bad and merciless and unkind and criminal and do wrong things to people, the wrong will happen to me. You will always harvest what you plant. You're the one that causes your pain, not the Almighty. Your deeds cause pain and suffering in you. That's Rumi, right? That's Rumi. And all religions have that same concept. از غیب رو نمود صلایی زد و برفت، این ره کوته است گرد نیست پا روا. This is from poem number 198 from Divan-e. This is not, usually we have verses from Masnavi. This is from دیوان شمس. از غیب رو نمود صلایی زد و برفت، این راه کوته است گرد نیست پا روا. God from the hidden world announced a message and left. The path to me is short unless you are not a serious path seeker. That's pretty serious talk, right? Here Rumi talks from the mouth of God. Say, hey, the path is short, but if you don't get to me, if it seems too long, because you're not serious about it. Let's see what it says. Serious message, right? گفت پیغمبر که نفحت‌های حق اندر این ایام می آرد سبق. This is book 1, verse 1951. The prophet said, in these days, the breathings of God prevail. گوش و هوش دارید این اوقات را، در ربایید این چنین نفحات را. Keep ear and mind attentive to these spiritual influences. Catch up such like breathing. نفحه آمد مر شما را دید و رفت، هر که را که خواست جان بخشید و رفت. The divine breathing came, saw you and departed. It gave life to whom it would and departed. This is three verses from Rumi 51, 1954, 52, and 53, all related. Okay, let's see what is Rumi telling us here. Here, Rumi tells us that these breathings of God come from the other side every moment, especially now that divine wants to become alive to his eternal and infinite potential. If we don't receive these breathings of God, we will destroy ourselves. As a matter of fact, that is exactly what we are doing to ourselves, destroying our beings and everything around us. For what? For what? Some pretty attachments like money. To increase the number of my attachments and worldly low desires, we are destroying the earth, the climate, the oceans, almost everything, and especially our relationships. Why did Rumi mention in these days? Maybe he realizes we need help, so he sends more breathing. Then Rumi advises us to be attentive to those spiritual influences, meaning expand our heart and receive these blessings. Since we are distracted and did not pay attention to God's breathings, he blessed the ones that were attentive and left the ones who were distracted. The breathings comes every moment. And Rumi is saying God's breathing comes every moment. The ones who are ready to receive and pay attention, they receive the mercy and the blessings. The one who are not, they won't receive it and they destroy themselves and the environment and others and the relationships. That's Rumi message here. نفحه‌ای دیگر رسید آگاه باش تا از این هم وانمانی خواجه تاش. Another breathing has arrived. Be aware and alert that you may not miss this one too, O comrade. So basically, Rumi says that every moment, another breath, every moment, breathing and breath is coming. The spiritual breath is coming and arriving, but we are not aware and on alert. And that's why you miss it. But he says, don't miss this one. Don't miss this one. You see, this is, as a matter of fact, the continuation of these three. This is 1954. The last moment is gone, but be alert for the next one so you don't miss the next opportunity to connect with the master. So it is the divine job is to send to send his breath, right? Breathing, as they say here, or breath, breathings of God, sending it, constantly sending it, and we resist. We don't take it. We don't accept it. We push it back. And but here Rumi says it's one more is coming, another one is coming. Be alert and don't, and you may not miss this one too, oh comrade. He's telling us not to miss these beautiful breathes that come. I have to sit down now. I stand up a little bit and sit down a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see me good?
Oh yeah, it's very good.
Okay. نفحه دیگر رسید آگاه باش تا از این هم وانمانی خواجه تاش. And another breath has arrived. Be aware and alert that you may not miss this one too, O comrade. That is verse 1954, book 1. The last moment is gone, but be alert for the next one, so you don't miss the next opportunity to connect with the master. دم او جان دهدت روز نفختو بپذیر کار او کن فیکون است نه موقوف علل. Says his breath will give you life. Accept the concept that God has blown from his soul into the human body. His work is based on the concept that God commands creation and all will be created. It is not based on the concept of causation. This is Divan-e poem number 1344. This is a very profound statement, a poem that Rumi makes here. Some of his poems are so profound. Most of them are profound, but some of them are very profound, extremely profound. This is one of them. It's absolutely mind-boggling, as you can see. Yeah. His breath will give you life. Accept the concept that God has blown from his soul into the human body. His work is based on the concept that God commands creation and all will be created. It is not based on the concept of causation. Rumi here says that in order for God to make something happen, he doesn't need cause and effect. He doesn't need causation. It's a philosophical concept, right? As soon as he says become, it becomes. This is from Quran, very different places. As soon as God say become, it becomes. It just with his saying it becomes. If I want to, if I want to have B result B, I have to do A. A causes B, right? But in the case of God, that it that doesn't apply there. God says it become and it becomes. It doesn't. It's not based on causation. That's what Rumi says. The events do not happen to make you fortunate or unfortunate. The events happen so you expand your heart and open space around them. Every event in this moment is the selection of the universe and is the best alternative for you. It is not based on the concept of causation. So every event happens as the best alternative. That's what Rumi says. So and we shouldn't look at the events to see if it makes us happy or unhappy, fortunate or unfortunate, glad or sad, happy, unhappy, joyful, sad. No. It all happens for us to expand your heart, to expand our heart. So what Rumi says here, don't look at the events of something that you're going to like or dislike. Look at them as an as an sign, as a command to expand your heart. It's coming to expand your heart, to open your heart, to open the space around them. Accept them. Accept them. And do not, because as soon as we dislike something, we resist. And that contracts the heart. That contracts our heart. It doesn't allow us to learn from the event, because the event comes for us to open a space, to expand our heart, not to make us happy or unhappy. But the ego is looking for happiness and 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 joy and glad and this and that. And if it is not one of those, it contracts and it dislikes and resists and rejects. But Rumi says, don't do that. Just open the space, which is not really hard, by the way, if you understand it. Expand your heart. Our Quran says, Rabba shrehli sadri bayassirli amri. This is a very important verse. God, please expand my heart and make things easy for me. Make it easy for me to expand my heart and accept them, not to resist them. Because as soon as you resist them, you become from the same essence of the event. You become the event. You're not a divine being anymore. A divine being would open the space and accept. Open this space. Doesn't say you don't. Doesn't believe. Doesn't indicate that you don't change it. You might not like it and change it, but you have to open your heart around it. Expand your heart and open the space and let the wisdom of the universe and the divine let you how to change it. Not to be contracted and angry and sad and rejecting it and resisting it. You see, or resentful. Just open your heart, open the space, expand your heart, and you'll be fine. کار من بی علت است و مستقیم هست تقدیرم نه علت ای سقیم. My actions in uncaused and upright. independent. I have the power of predetermination. I have no cause, O sick one. Basically, it says if you think that I have cause, then you're sick. You see, telling us the mind is sick, the ego is sick. My work, my actions is on cause and upright. There is nothing, I don't need a causation in it. It's independent of this thing. I have the power of predetermination, and I have no cause. If you think this way, you're sick. So become healthy, become well. Understand that my things are on cause and upright. Just straightforward. Straightforward. There's no cause and effect in my work. I don't need it. I don't need it. The ego makes the cause and effect. That's what Rumi says. God, it has no ego. So it doesn't need cause and effect. He says become and it becomes. عادت خود را بگردانم به وقت. این غبار از پیش بنشانم به وقت. I alter my custom at the time I choose. At the time I will lay the dust that raises in front. Therefore, life indicates and tells you that your action is not caused by the causation of your mind. Because the causation is a product of the mind of the ego. There is no causation in the universe. In order for mind ego to understand it, it makes the cause and effect. It's a way for the mind to understand the events. So it creates this cause and effect. In conclusion, in order to be successful and joyous, you should not allow the mind to trick you and convinces you that echoic mind and causation is in charge. Convince you. Therefore, life indicates that and tells you that your action is not caused by the causation of your mind. In conclusion, in order to be successful and joyous, you should not allow the mind to trick you and convince you that the egoic mind causation is in charge. As we just realized that the causation is a creation and a tool of the mind to understand the event. Correct? So it's telling us here, do not allow that to mislead you, because it's misleading us, telling, oh, you did this, that happened. No, for God, things happens because it says become and it becomes. But the mind, in order to understand it, makes this cause and effect thing to understand, to make connection between events. That's what that's a basic sickness of the mind, because he says, oh, sick one. That's what he said. Yeah. It is his destiny and predetermination that determines the events of our life, and it's our job to open our hearts and allow this mechanism to do its function. All the events are the creations of Almighty and the divine, and we don't need, and we should not look at it as a chain of cause and effect. And we have to open our heart and create space around it and let the mechanism do its function. Let the destiny and the events do its job, which is expansion of our heart. We are here to expand our heart and to infinity. So whatever the expansion is, you can go further. It never ends. It never ends. And there is no destiny. The journey is the destiny. The journey of opening the heart and expanding the heart is the destination. We are supposed to open our heart every moment. Every moment, every event is telling us, open your heart a little bit more. Open your heart a little bit more. Open your heart a little bit more. Expand your heart. Expand your heart. Expand your heart. And as we do this, we become more divine and more and closer to God, the Almighty. همچنین هر شهوتی اندر جهان خواه مال و خواه جاه و خواه نان هر یکی زینها تو را مستی کند، چون نیابی آن خمارت میزند. این خمار غم دلیل آن شده است، که بدان مخفود مستی است، مستی که بدان مفقود مستیت به دست. So this goes together. That's why I read it together. Even so, every loss in the world, whether it to be for riches or power or bread, each of these things produces an intoxication and drunkenness in you. And when you gain it not, it inflicts a headache upon you. This headache of grief has become a proof that your intoxication was caused by that missed object of desire. See what he says here? Very profound. So every loss in the world, it is for riches or power or bread or money, or for money, wealth, power, and bread. If they produce an intoxication and drunkenness in you, when you don't gain it, it inflicts a headache upon you. So this headache and this grief is a proof that your intoxication was caused by that missed object. It's showing you basically when you get headache and you are sad that you didn't get this this attachment that you were after. That means that you were attached to this thing. They were attached to this thing. That's why you don't get it, and you get headache. Basically, it's like you are addicted. We are addicted to a drug. That's what it is. If an addicted person doesn't get its drug, what happens? It becomes sad. It gets headache and restless and sad and wants that thing. That means that you are addicted to it. If God forbid one is addicted to heroin, say, and he doesn't get the heroin, he would become sad, right? He goes after to get it. So that means you're addicted to heroin. Now he's using it Rumi, and he says every desire in this world is like that addictive material. When you don't get it, you get headache, and so that means that you're addicted to it, that you're attached to it, right? That what this one is telling us. Yeah. Maybe each of you, instead of pure heart, have a lot of pain in your core. Rumi tells us each attachment causes a desire or lust. Lust or desire is when you are strongly attracted to something outside of yourself. Rumi here indicates that every lust or desire, whether riches, power, or food, which occupies our core, will intoxicate us, which is an illusion. These can cause egotism, arrogance, superiority, and fantasy of perfection. If for any reason you have lost any of these, you get a headache or grief that indicates that you were attached to them. Therefore, when you get a headache or of grief for any likes that you have lost, that indicates that you were attached to them. I said it, but this is, I guess, explains it better. Yeah, the headache. What is that word when you get drunk and when you're drunk and you wake up in the morning? What is that word? You get
hangover.
Hangover. God bless you. That's the word I have. Let me put here. That's hangover. Rumi says this is, if you want to make it contemporize it, as Stefan was telling us, this is what you have to say. It causes hangover. Here it says when you if you have a headache, hangover. That's a better word. That's a much better word, hangover, because headache doesn't make sense. It does make sense, but this is a better word, hangover. Yeah. When you don't receive something and you get a hangover, that means you're attracted to it, right? That means your hangover. Thank you for hangover. It's one word, hangover. Caused by that, the headache, the hangover of grief. Yes, the hangover. That's the word. Thank you. See, when this is the translation from from Nicholson, Raynard Nicholson, but he didn't use this. Probably hangover was not a very common word at the time, but that's what it is. We know, when the addictive people, they don't get the substance, they get hangover. That's what it is. So Rumi says basically most of us are addicted. That's why when I see somebody addicted, I say, you know what? Don't feel bad because a lot of people are addicted, but they don't know. But you know that you're addicted. At least you're aware of your disease. Most of the people are addicted to something and they don't know. Addicted to, Rumi says, riches, power, or bread, and then when you don't get enough of it, they get they have hangover. When they get enough of it, they are intoxicated and drunken. When they don't get enough of it, they get hangover. So that hangover, she shows that you are addicted to that thing. That is the way to come to, if you want to say it in a contemporary way, that's how you say it. Yeah, hangover. That's a good word. Thank you so much for giving this word to me. Okay, maybe each of you instead of pure heart have a lot of pain in your core. Rumi tells us its attachment causes the desire or lust. Lust or desire is when you're strongly attracted to something outside of yourself. Rumi here indicates that every lust or desire, whether riches, power, or food, occupies our core, will intoxicate us, which is an illusion. This can cause egotism, arrogance, superiority, and fantasy of perfection. If for any reason you left any of the, you get hangover. That's the word, hangover. Thank you. Hangover of grief that indicates that you were attached to them. Therefore, when you get the headache, a hangover, because this is exactly uh, because this is uh, this is addiction. As a matter of fact, I remember I forgot a German name, but he may be still alive. But I heard that one of these comedian, he was on HBO. He said, "I see these people with a lot of money. These people are addicted to money. It's an addiction. We have a lot of addiction in money in here, but there is addiction to power, addiction to food, addiction to everything. And this is just an example, Rumi. You can be addicted to anything, and then the hangover comes when you don't get enough of it, and so that shows that if you get a hangover, that means that you're addicted to it. So the people who are free from the attachments, they don't get any hangover. They're always free of hangover, no headache. They're free because nothing is they're addicted to nothing in this world. Nothing, right? نفس و شیطان خواست خود را پیش برد وان عنایت قهر گشت و خورد و مرد. The ego and the devil have carried their will to success, while that act of divine favor has been defeated and crushed into pieces. That's the work of ego and devil, that when they take over our being and they take over control of us, they defeat the favor of God and crush it into pieces. Yeah. As soon as the ego and the devil will win, then all God's blessings will be crushed into pieces, and we will remain with a lot of pain and grief. Yeah. We will remain with a lot of pain and grief. I think we did enough, huh? Peter, You want to say how you feel about what we
Mm.
discussed today? I went too far. I should have stopped that. But I
No,
thought it's going well, right? I thought it's
yeah,
going
it's
well.
very
Let's
good. Yeah, I think it's important to have this continuity so
yeah.
and savor.
Yeah, I think we should read this and then contemplate and open a space around it, and then,
Yeah.
whatever we get out of it, each individual will get different things from it, right? Based on your appetite and each of us get different lesson from. But Rumi just is like an ocean. He says, "Come and pick up a bucket of water from me." You get different places, you take different. So it is a lot of stuff he says, right? I tell you, anytime I read this Vita, I learn more from it. It's amazing. His uh, his wisdom is infinite, really. It's just amazing. He was such in love with God and such an ocean of wisdom that it never ends, never ends. How do you feel? Tell us, tell me about how do you feel about this poem?
Yeah, it was very nice. Thank you for sharing. I think he's trying to guide us to that, yeah, the place where it's not finite or limited or temporary, which is causing suffering, but guiding us to the infinite timelessness. So when you're talking about, yeah, don't get trapped with the causation, we need to ultimately transcend that. Yeah, we need causation for functioning in the society. Like,
Uh,
if you don't work, you you cannot
no,
pay your
absolutely.
bills.
But he doesn't talk about that, by the way. He's in a spiritual world this year. Absolutely. I mean, Rumi played, worked and made money and, had kids and wife and this thing. He lived like everybody on all of us in the world. Yeah, absolutely. That's for the managing of the worldly matters, you need that. But but because mind is needed to manage your life, you see, that's what it is. So the mind makes this causation, but it says for the spirituality, when you're in the spiritual world, the causation doesn't work anymore. It has a different logic. See, because that space has a different logic. It doesn't say, you're absolutely right. And I mean, even in Islam, so if you do this, you do that. لَيْسَ الْإِنسَانَ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. There is nothing for the human being unless you try, you put the effort. But that's for worldly matters. But when it comes to that, the spiritual world doesn't work. Because it has a different logic, different space, basically.
Yeah, it's a different dimension and
Dimension, yeah.
it's timelessness. So it's not about sequence of time. So it's not cause and effect anymore. We transcend that to enter timelessness. Yeah, it's transcendental.
Yeah, when you come back to the world, then you still follow the causation rules and the rules of the universe, of the world matters. But when you're outside, when you're in that transcend this world, and he talked about that word. I mean, he knows that we know these things. My knows, and as a matter of fact, in Rumi, in other places, he says that. He says that don't forget about cause and effect in this world, but be aware that if you transcend this space, this place, this worldly place, then it doesn't work there anymore. I mean, it's all. But yeah, yeah, you got it. Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Yeah,
Any,
the question I had was about the verse numbers. It's like sometimes the numbers jump. Do you select them, put them together, or
yeah,
it
yeah. I don't select him. I choose the one that Mr. Shahbazi does, which is very much. You see, because what he does, he chooses the verses based on the concept. And when he is in a concept, then he chooses those verses which are related to the concept. And basically, it's like a train of thought, and it's like a creation, like creating a picture of the concept. So basically, yes, you see, because you can read Rumi in consequence, which I do, and because that's another way of looking at him. But for the people who are not very into Rumi and his understanding, that it might be a little bit dull because there are stuff there which you have to be patient. So what he does, which I believe, which is good because it's out of experience and out of try and error, to pick up the stuff which is interesting and keeps the audience's focus and doesn't bore them because it's not boring. But if you're not into it heavily, it seems boring to you because you're not familiar with it. It's like if somebody talks about absolute math, I would get bored because I don't know the fundamental math. You have to know fundamental math and you be at the PhD level of math to understand, absolute math. He goes to the absolute, Rumi, because that's what he's there. And as a matter of fact, he tries to bring it down to our level, but still he doesn't. He stay there, and so that's why you can read it. In the old days, they read Rumi in started from book one, read everything because it has this logic, and Rumi tries to keep people interested and keep the the attention of the entertain the audience because that's why he has a lot of stories and jokes and stuff in it. But this way is better for 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 us which are not really uh, deeply involved, deeply in it. Because if you want to be in that level, you have to read Rumi every day, basically. See what I'm saying? So he chooses stuff from here and there, puts it together to make it more interesting. That's what it is. It's conceptual. It's conceptually related. But if you read Rumi from page, I love it that way. I read it consequently, like page after page after page, and I love it.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's a lot of work. So thank you.
It's
And
yeah, it's but for if you want to do it yourself, you can read stuff from page book one and go verse two to verse. It is a bit,
it's difficult.
it's a little bit hard work,
It's
but
hard.
I'm used to it. I have, but I still, but I know people who have read it 10, 20 times, the whole six books. They go one, they go again because first time you don't get it, second time a little bit more, third time. But I think, is that makes sense to you? It's just
Oh, yeah,
coming,
yeah.
picking up
Yeah.
stuff from here and there
Nice.
to make it interesting
It is
and
interesting. Yeah,
uh,
it's intriguing. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and to make it interesting for the people to pay attention and stay. Even these people don't pay, they don't want to hear because it's so much, you know, uh, Bitojon, there is a lot of distraction in the world, a lot of distraction. That's what we are dealing with. My dad used to say, people who live now and pay attention to spirituality, they are rewarded much better than the old people, the people who left long time ago, because he said there was no distraction at that time, so it was easy for them to focus on this thing. But for us, you really have to put an lot of effort to get away from distraction and work on these things. So good for us that we can do it. So I'm just giving you some credit, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. And I have one more question before
sure,
I let you go.
sure.
So it said that everything that's happening to you now is the best alternative for you.
Mhm.
I was wondering how you explain that. I mean, like, let's say someone right now, maybe they lose their job or they get sick. How would you explain that?
Yeah,
It's
there is a verse in Quran. Let me explain. Let me tell you. I think that explains it the best I can say it. وَعَسَى مَنْ تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. It says, uh, there is a things that happens in your life and you dislike it, but it might be the best for you. It may be the best for you. Or وَعَسَى مَنْ تُحِبُّ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. And there is a lot of things which you like and it's bad for you. You see, the because the event, it's because the like or dislike for us is from the viewpoint of an ego, isn't it? But Rumi says, don't look at it from ego point of view. Look at it from your spiritual side, and it's good for you. It's good for your spirit, basically, even though your ego doesn't like it, which is not easy, by the way. I mean, just think about it. I mean, something happens to me, and I don't like it, and I get disappointed. But when you think about it, and you let the heart opens up around it, then you realize, oh, maybe it's good for me. Just this question of, you say maybe, it opens your heart to it. And then you might see that, oh, it happened for this reason. Because Rumi says that God creates events for a purpose. It's not in vain. Nothing from God is in vain. Quran says nothing is in vain. Everything has a reason. So, but we don't understand it. That's hard for us. And that's why God has mercy on us. Because if I knew that if this happens to me, what is the reason? It's good, and I won't get disappointed, then I'm done. I don't get disappointed. I get disappointed because I don't understand it. You see what I'm saying? So God says, I understand you, Beta, because I understand you. You mad. I understand you because you don't understand it, because you don't know why I did it for you, or how I brought this event to your life, because there's a reason for it, and maybe later on you find out. But at the moment, it is distressing, and the event is not desirable, and you get mad, and that's why God accepts. Forgives us from all the sins, because he knows that we are in the trap, basically. You see what I'm saying? This is what he means by, does it make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, because we identify with the temporary things.
Yes,
So it's a lesson of letting go of something that's not truly reliable. So we can merge with that infinite ocean of truth.
yes.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
job, good job.
Thank
You're
you for your
welcome.
time. Yeah,
Thank you so much. God bless you. See you
yeah.
later. See you next time.
Okay. See you.
Bye bye.